10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
The best thing you have, the best thing, the most precious thing you have is your presence. But your presence may have a higher quality. You are fresh, you are free, you are solid, you are happy. And the practice of mindfulness help you to retain your freshness, to cultivate more peace, more solidity. There is a practice for children called pebble meditation. There are 4 pebbles, and the children practice like this. The first pebble represents a flower. Breathing in, I see myself as a flower. Breathing out, I feel fresh. The human being is a kind of flower. And if we don't know how to practice, and then we will lose our freshness. And we do not have much to offer the person we love. So practicing mindful breathing or walking and restore your freshness, your flowerness, is something possible. Releasing the worries, the fear, the anger, and restore your freshness is something that you can do while sitting or walking. The children practice breathing in, I see myself as a flower. You don't have to imagine yourself as a flower, because the human body, the human being is very beautiful. It is a real flower. Look at the child. Look at her face. Her tiny hand, his tiny foot is a real flower. It's beautiful when the child sleeps. It's beautiful when the child is awake and play. And we are born as flowers. And it is possible for us to preserve our flowerness, our freshness, our beauty. The second pebble, breathing in, I see myself as a mountain. A mountain represents stability and solidity. A person cannot be a happy person unless she has some stability. He has some stability. And the practice of mindful breathing, mindful sitting, mindful walking can always help us to cultivate more stability and solidity. And our solidity, our stability is something we can offer to the person we love. If we are too unstable, if we are not solid, we are not happy. We cannot, and the other person suffer also because of that. So cultivating stability and solidity is something you can do. Breathing in, I see myself as still water. Breathing out, I reflect things as they truly are. When you are calm, you are not victims of wrong perceptions. You are not victims of anger and fear, because you are calm enough. You don't imagine things. So breathing in, breathing out, or practicing walking, you can cultivate peace, calmness, tranquility. A person who does not have enough peace in himself, herself, cannot be a happy person. So cultivating peace in oneself is something we can do with the practice of mindful breathing, mindful walking, mindful sitting. And when you have peace in you, you have something to offer him or her. Breathing in, I see myself as space. Breathing out, I feel free. If you do not have enough space in our heart, we have so much worries and fear and anger. We are not happy. And that is why the practice is to bring more space into our heart and around us. A person cannot be a happy person unless she has some freedom, some space in herself or around her. So to love means to offer space. And if you do not have space in you, how can you offer your beloved one with space? That is why the practice of mindfulness, whether that is mindfulness of breathing or walking, working or eating, always help us cultivate these values, these energies. How we can cultivate our beauty, our freshness. We can cultivate more our stability and solidity. We can cultivate more the energy of peace, calmness, and we can always cultivate more the element of freedom in us. So when you look at your beloved one and you say, "Darling, I'm here for you," that is a great gift, because your presence has the element of freshness, of stability, of peace and of freedom. The best kind of gift you can make to him or to her. That presence generated by the practice of mindfulness, of breathing or walking, that presence is for you first, for us first, and then for the other person. We have to be truly present, because love always begins with oneself. If you are not capable of loving yourself, of taking care of yourself, you will not have the capacity to love the other person and take good care of him or her. And that is why loving oneself is the foundation for loving the other person. And there are practices that everyone can do in order to care for oneself, in order for us to be able to care for the other person and for the world. The Buddha proposed many easy, simple practices that everyone can do. Like the first practice of mindful breathing, exercise of mindful breathing, breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. You recognize your in breath, you recognize your out breath. And since you are You have your in-breath as the object of your mind, you release everything else, you are free. A very simple exercise, and the effect is great. It sets you free, just 3-4 seconds of breathing in. And you don't need to practice many months and many years in order to see the effect. The first few minutes, when you begin the practice, you can see the outcome right away. Breathing in, if you pay attention only to your in-breath, and then you can release, and the past, and the future, and all your projects, and the process of healing begins right away. The second exercise on mindful breathing is breathing in, I follow my in-breath from the beginning to the end. I follow my in-breath all the way through. Your in-breath may last only 3 or 4 or 5 seconds, but while breathing in, you are fully concentrated on your in-breath. And you may enjoy breathing in, because breathing in is something enjoyable too. You don't have to suffer while breathing in. If you suffer while breathing in, you are not practicing correctly. Because life is a lot of suffering already in life. Why do you have to practice in order to suffer more? So whether it is the practice of mindful breathing or mindful walking, mindful sitting, we do it in such a way that it gives you pleasure and happiness. The practice is pleasant, should be pleasant. And when the energy of mindfulness and concentration are powerful enough, you always get an insight. That insight can help liberate you from your afflictions, like fear, anger, jealousy, despair, and so on. There are 3 kinds of energies that can be generated by the practice of mindfulness. The first energy is mindfulness, which allows us to become alive, to become present in the here and the now, and to be aware of what is happening in the here and the now. And the second energy is the energy of concentration. When you are very aware, when you are very mindful of something, you are naturally concentrated on that. If you are aware, if you are mindful of your in-breath, you'll be concentrating on your in-breath. So that is the meaning of the second exercise. Breathing in, I follow my in-breath all the way through. So mindfulness and become powerful because of the concentration that is born from the practice of mindfulness. And when mindfulness and concentration are together, are powerful enough, you always get the third energy, the energy of insight. Insight, in this case, does not come from thinking, but from mindfulness. And during the time of practicing mindfulness and concentration, you don't need to think. You might like to stop the thinking altogether. Insight as the outcome of non-thinking. When we breathe in mindfully and with concentration, we might discover many things. We might discover the fact that we are alive. Many do not know that they are alive. They are there, but they are not alive because that they do not have mindfulness. So that there is a very simple exercise. Breathing in, mindfully, I feel alive. And this is the truth. If someone is not alive, she cannot breathe in anymore. So breathing in mindfully, you get the insight that you are alive. And to be alive is the most wonderful thing. It is a miracle. It is the greatest of all miracles to be alive. And just 2 or 3 seconds breathing in can bring you that insight that you are alive, and you touch the miracle of being alive. And when you breathe out, you can celebrate the fact that you are alive. So happiness is possible, joy is possible just by one in-breath and one out-breath. And it's nourishing and healing. And breathing in mindfully like that help you to touch many conditions of happiness that have the power to heal and to nourish in us and around us. Suppose we breathe in and we become mindful of our heart. Breathing in, I am aware of my heart. Generating the energy of mindfulness, you use that energy of mindfulness to recognize the presence of your heart. You kind of embrace your heart with the energy of mindfulness. And you can discover the fact that your heart still functions normally. That is already an insight. And it's wonderful to have a heart that still functions normally. There are those of us who only wish for that. And the deepest desire may be just having a heart, a normal heart like that. So breathing in and having our heart as the object of our mindfulness, we can feel grateful to our heart. And that is one of the conditions of happiness that we are having. And when the Buddha teaches the practice of mindfulness of the body, he advises us to get in touch with all parts of the body and smile and recognize these parts of the body. There is an exercise of deep total relaxation that we will try today. We put ourselves in the lying position and we begin to breathe in and out mindfully and recognize part of our body. It's like a scanning our body, not with X-ray, but the ray of mindfulness. You recognize your eyes. Breathing in, I am aware of my eyes. Breathing out, I smile to my eyes. Recognizing the presence of your eyes. And you might get the insight that, well, my eyes are still in good conditions. A paradise of forms and colors is available to me just because I still have eyes in good condition. You need only to open your eyes in order to touch the paradise of form and color. That is another condition of happiness. And we go through the body and recognize every part of the body. And when we come to a place that is a little bit ailing, we may like to stop longer and embrace with compassion and tenderness that part of the body that is ailing. That practice of being aware of the body can help heal the body. You can still continue with your with the medicine, but to relax our body to embrace tenderly that part of our body with mindfulness practice can accelerate, can help very much the healing, can make the healing happen more quickly. The third exercise, breathing in, I'm aware of my body, is part of that exercise. And the fourth exercise is breathing in. I release all the tension in my body. The body has the power to heal itself only if we allow it to do that. When an animal in the forest gets wounded, deeply wounded, she knows what to do. The animal finds a quiet place and lie down. She knows deeply that resting is the only way to heal. The animal does not think of looking for food or running after an animal. She knows that the best thing is to just lie down. Because the body has the natural tendency, natural power to heal itself. We human beings, we used to have